Hello fish fools, Jeff here. So here's a look at my 6-foot 84-gallon community display tank. And a little over 2 years ago is when I first set this up. And I was gradually adding more and more fish, particularly in the beginning. And now there's probably close to 100 fish in here. Maybe 75 to 100, and I'm not sure exactly counting the total fish, but what I do know is there are 13 species of fish in here. That is down from its peak of 15 species. So unfortunately, I lost the group of Pandagaras. I had 6 Pandagara in here, and they were, active and add a lot to the activity and dynamics of the tank. I mean, as it is now, there's a lot of activity with different schooling fish and just a lot of variety. I also had a betta. A few times I had a betta in here, but none of them lasted that long. Maybe the longest one, maybe I would guess around 10 months or so, but yeah, haven't had any go the distance. But I mean, some of these fish have been here since the beginning. So yeah, let's go through an overview of the fish in here. We'll just, before we're doing that, kind of scan the tank. So just see what we have in here. I mean, if you are an avid fish keeper, you would probably recognize a lot of these fish, but yeah. So some have been born in here, like the Carbensis. So all of these were Carbensis babies. They're not babies anymore. There's a bunch of them, 20 to 25 or so. Parents did a great job of raising them, and it is to the point where I will need to unload some. There's the mom. Good looking fish. And somewhere along the way, I'm sure I'll come across the dad. But yeah, so one of my plans is, and I mentioned this before, I'm going to take a male that was born in here and move it to my 40-gallon that has another female by herself. And then the intent is to set up another tank, a 20-gallon, and put a pair in there to breed, and then maybe allow another pair to group or to pair up in here and maybe claim a territory aside from the original parents. Yeah, so that's, some of them are probably some of the bigger males, like this one, are getting close to as big as the female. I mean, the adult males are even bigger, so somewhere I'm sure I will, looking through, I'm not seeing, oh, there he is. That's the, just one behind there, that's the dad. Yeah, so Carbensis were born in here. I'm just right in this shot. Looking here, there's a bunch of the babies together here. Well, not babies anymore, but. And emerald green corridors. Several were born in here. Those I had to intervene, and I put them in a breeder box. and had collected some of the eggs and put them there and raised them and finally released them. The Carensis, the parents guarded them, so they survived. And we have some swordtails. Here's a male. This male was store-bought. Actually, when I bought it, it was smaller, and I thought it was a female before it grew the tail and it got on podium and developed into really be identified as a male. And here's another male. This was born in my 29-gallon swordtail tank. That's a tank I showed in my previous video when I was talking about the mollies, and yeah, so there's the one black molly in here. My last video I did show this tank when I was talking about how my wild caught mollies are healthier than any store-bought mollies I ever had, and in that video I showed this tank. I mentioned I was going to do a water change, and I did, so I water changed last night. There was algae on the glass here. I cleaned that off. And here's some Odessa barbs. The males are brighter red. And this female was store-bought. It was small when I bought it. And a couple of these were born. There's two females like this, the neon swordtails, that were born in my 29-gallon I moved in here. So I had other swordtails that have had babies in here. I've seen babies, but none of them have grown up in here and all got eaten. But maybe, I was kind of hoping that maybe since the added subwasser tang, some babies might be able to survive in here. Similarly, in my 29-gallon, a few babies would be born. Some did survive, but in the first year or so, maybe just a few would grow up until the subwasser tang kind of spread out in that tank. I showed that tank in my video yesterday. And yeah, so the swordtail population there took off, but yeah. And here's some glow light tetras. Sort of an underrated community fish. But they are cool looking and I dig them. Scissor tail rasbors, so these get kind of bigger. Like this tank being 84 gallons, a lot of my other tanks, are community fish with, live bears. Like a lot of them have guppies. No guppies in this tank, but I do have more of my bigger fish in here, like this scissor tail rasbors. Probably the biggest one in here might be 5 or 6 inches, and the roseline sharks also get about 5 or 6 inches, and these are the biggest Siamese algae eaters, so that those also in the 6-inch range when they're full grown. And rummy nose tetras. And doing the water change yesterday and spending more time looking at this tank, I am down to 3 rummy nose tetras. I don't know what happened. I mean, I had a dozen or more, and they were all doing fine. And that was kind of a thing how I would kind of gauge how the health of the tank is. I would just see if the rummy nose tetras noses were bright red. That would kind of tell me that the tank is doing well. And one of the 3 that remains is the one that has the half tail. I remember back when I got it, when it was smaller, got that with a group from my local fish store, and I was kind of doubting that one would last like some of the others that I got with it died, but this is one that has thrived even with its half tail. And what else do we have? Ah, the pearl gourami. The lone gourami. When I got it, it was small. It has probably, certainly at least doubled in size, but maybe even tripled. And there's a couple others. So back there, it's kind of in the dark, but that is an auto-sinkless up against the glass back there, the one only auto-sinkless I have. So at the time when I bought it, I think I bought maybe 4 or so. 3 of them died in quarantine, and the one that moved in here has been doing fine. I mean, I would like to get him some auto-sinkless buddies. But right now, he is the only one. And I think I have one more species to go. There they are. Brilliant raspberries. So there's 2. So the very first fish I added in here was a lone brilliant raspberry. And a while later I was able to get another one, and it's just the 2, and since I put them in here they hang out. But yeah, when I was, all those times I was getting new fish, I've been wanting to get more brilliant raspberries, but stores haven't had them, so kind of just got some one-offs at a time. So eventually, I would like to get some more, and you know, this tank will always be evolving. And it was my intention to have like 24 rummy nose tetras. I may have got might have peaked at the most. I might have had up to like 16 or so, maybe. Yeah, down to like 3. I want to get more in time. I want to get more Panagaras. Another group of Panagaras in here. It was really fun to watch them, and I enjoyed having them. It's kind of a bummer that I don't have any more in any here or any of my other tanks. I had some for years in different tanks. I'm gonna add some more swordtails, some more females, because I have a ton in my 29 gallons, so I'll move some in here. Maybe get some babies in here. Or, if they don't survive, they'll at least provide some live food for the other fish. And that is the lone black molly. I could try to get a male. Did have a male in here, but as I mentioned in my previous video, talking about how awesome my wild caught mollies are in my 29 gallon high tank. I have plenty of videos about those, and that's what I've been focusing on a lot lately, was the Las Vegas wash where I collected them. So if you're interested in that, you can check out some of my previous videos where I collected them from the wild in the wetlands park near my neighborhood. And but yeah, mollies haven't done well for like store-bought, so I mean, I would like to try to get a male to pair up with it, but who knows how that will go. Just the luck I've had with store-bought mollies, which hasn't been very good. Alright, so as for plants, I continue to try to find something to fill up the back here, but nothing has really like stayed. Like, I had a bunch of Anacharis in here, but that still doesn't stay rooted, and it has been mentioned in comments when I have showed in other tanks, and I've just haven't been able to. Like, I thought I would be able to keep it down, like but it was like when I do more frequent water changes, I would get my hands in there, so I'm sticking it in, but I haven't done so. So that might be a little bit of inaccuracy in here. Yeah, there's a little piece right there, but most of it is not in here anymore. Most of the stem plants, still got some Ludwigia repens. And when I was in here doing water change, I stuck some little pieces in there. I haven't added any fertilizer in here in ages, with the exception of a root tab that I added here. Because here are the two Crinum calmistratums. Those are kind of like centerpiece type plants. So they've both been thriving in here, and this one still is, but this one doesn't have as many, doesn't have really any new growth, and that's less leaves. But I did put a root tab in there. And the Subwasser tang, I really wanted it to be kind of in the rocks over here and the wood, but it just kind of creeps or spreads and grows, and this is all filled in, but I did kind of pull some out and put it back here. Here's Cryptocorn undulata. So I did have, one main piece, but there was like, from here there's a separate growth right there and here. I had some giant hair grass in the back, but that has not fared well. The Java fern Wendelev, quite a smaller portion. This is probably quadrupled in size. Some Anubias right here. Here's Cryptocorn Crypt Lucens, and this is corkscrew valve. So I initially had a couple pieces of this. I had one over here, and it just kept growing, spreading this way, like it would, from one, had 3 at a time, and then this would die, and then this would come up, and then kind of just keep going like that to where it is now. And now it's going through the lucens, so the lucens, whatever roots might be underneath, and this is coming through. And yeah, but the most would have like 3 healthy pieces at a time, but not, it wouldn't just keep going. Like once it keeps going this way, the ones behind had died off. Here's some right here. I think that was when I had a loose piece and I replanted it there. Some more Java fern Wendelev. And there's some Bacopa. I think that's what's left there. I had some, some stems in here. Those kind of died off. And what's left, what remains, that's Cryptocorn balance. That's a plant that can grow long, but hasn't done so. And there is some Vallisneria. So there's a piece here. Some of it is, you can see back here. Yeah, back in the back corner. There's some of it growing back there, but I mean, that is a plant that is grow tall. It just doesn't really do that for me for whatever reason. Kind of grows as like a carpeting plant, like in one of my 40 gallons. It just like covers the bottom, but it doesn't grow high. But yeah, still cool looking. And there's for hardscape, the dragonstone or okostone, mopani wood, kind of spread out. But yeah, lots of activity, fun to watch. Lots of plants swimming, fish swimming around, and peaceful fish, peaceful tank. Like even the I mean, the crevensis are cichlids. They're dwarf cichlids, but those are kind of cichlids that can do well in a community tank. And even just right now, there's like no aggression being displayed. When the parents were spawning, you know, they were protective of their area. That was pretty much it. Every once in a while, the Odessa barbs might get a little boisterous, but not causing any harm. But kind of similarly, and I don't have them anymore, the Panagara, they would kind of like spar sometimes, never really hurt each other. But yeah, that's pretty much the extent of it. But overall, they just swim around, just no one bothers anybody, each other. Yeah, fun to watch. All right. Well, that's it for now. And remember, I'm Jeff, and I enjoy fishies. Thanks for watching.